Well, we're on our way back down again. Should be able to get down there a good bit earlier than yesterday. But it is dark. So I don't know how far down in there we'll be able to go without some form of light. I'll change to a red lens if I can. Really sure I heard some cows up this way. Which means they may have stayed on the private and went up, because the private boundary is only about 80 yards over here. That's a bull. There's a bull that way. Fence lines right there. Scent's going in a terrible spot. But if I could get him to come straight across, I think that would work. He's moved from over here to over there. On the other side of the fence, through the aspen, there's some kind of open meadows over there. So I think what I'm going to do is bugle at him again, because he just bugled. I bugled back. Now he just kind of roared. I'm going to bugle over here and then go right over here. I'll be able to see better. And if he wants to loop on me coming here, he might come right under me over there.
So I slide over and set up shop. I get my bow ready just in case that guy wants to come in.
You could also be just simply moving the cows away. I don't know if that was... It's hard to locate that high-pitched thing. Definitely was a response right down in here. There are definitely two bulls out here. We had a kind of a high-pitched bugle over here. So I bugled. And we had some kind of a response up here by a bull.
After a while, the woods were quiet and the rain came in.
This wasn't in the forecast. Another walk out. Trying to avoid the heavy rain that's coming. All the rain I've had so far this morning wasn't supposed to be there. That makes me think what's coming might be worse than they're talking about.
Well, it is raining. It's supposed to rain the rest of the day. So I don't think I'm going anywhere. Have debated going home, except I'm about 5 hours away. So I'm thinking I need to stay here and make that drive worthwhile and go check out some other places. So I'm definitely going to stay for tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow morning. I might get fed up and go home after that if I don't come across anything. But I don't know if I should go back down there and play that property line game, because it's a very small piece of public that juts into the private. And this morning they were off of it. There were definitely 2 bulls, possibly 3. It seemed like they were one up the hill, one down below me, and then one off to the left. So it was hard to say. Sometimes it seemed like maybe it could have been the same one a couple times, but that's why at first I thought that bull was moving away from me, because it was a second bull over there. But because I was thinking, man, he really moved a long way in a short period of time. Not that they can't, and not that they don't, even when they're just walking. They're big animals. I'm in the car. We are trying to dry out some stuff. I got my little fan that's plugged into the battery, blowing on my bow. I've got my junk up here. I let the car go to idle and get the temperature up, and then turn it off and just have the fans on the dash going, leave it on accessory. And once it cools off, I turn the car on for another couple minutes. Heats back up. Get my stuff dried out. But this is one of those times where I wish I had a bigger vehicle. Yeah. So everything just feels damp. It's cold and damp. But like I said, I don't know if I should go. I'm not gonna go home. I'm gonna hang out. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna hang out in this area. I'll probably do some map reconning. Maybe think about going to a spot Brian and I went before. You know, I'm out here by myself, and so you gotta think about where's the elk, but also where's the elk at where I can make 4 to 5 heavy loads out if I were to get lucky. I think that's the real key. Maybe finding the elk isn't that hard. You just got to get in there a ways or put on the miles. But if you were to get one, you've got to think about, you got to plan for success. And where I am down there in that hole, it's probably doable, because I think if it were to dry out, and I don't know if it's going to dry out, but I could get my car down in there a little ways, because it's about probably 1.5 miles, 1.75 miles to the bottom, and I could probably get this car down another 1/4 to 1/2 mile, but I still got to come up a bunch of steep spots with load. So even if I got one down in there, it'd be tough to get out. I'd have to do a bunch of trips. But I think it would be feasible. I'd just be pretty darn tired and wore out. I don't know. This weather down here has been very frustrating. Anywho, we'll see what we come up with and where we start tomorrow out. It might be right here. Who knows? If I took a nap for maybe less than an hour, maybe an hour, I wake up, open my eyes, and that's the sun up there. It's almost clear. You got some blue sky and junk. What is going on? It was supposed to be raining pretty well all day. Like, this is the time frame right now. It's almost 3 o'clock. It's supposed to be raining right now. So I'm gonna get an update on the Garmin here. Get some updated weather, but I'm not having any luck with weather forecasts. It's one thing when they're not precise. You can't expect that, but I've written the day off today. I resigned myself to just sitting in the freaking car. I don't know. I'm tired. We'll see what the forecast says. I would be very upset if I went downhill and then got rained on for 3 hours. It appears though, while I was sleeping, somebody walked on by, and it must have rained pretty hard because there was distinct cattle tracks right through here. You can see kind of the bumps and stuff in here. They were pretty distinct, so it rained hard enough to beat those down. There's a puddle down here. These have to be the largest lodgepole pines I've ever seen. These things are huge. Look at the size of this joker. Huge. And the aspen right here are no joke either. It's not the only huge lodgepole. There's one right here with these massive aspen. Man, these things are humongous. A whole bunch of just massive aspen. Forecast says partly cloudy right now, and then rain here shortly, which I see some gray clouds over there, and the blue sky is about gone, so maybe we are just gonna be stuck in here. Fair enough. Since I'm at the car, I'm gonna go ahead and take advantage of the situation and actually brew some coffee instead of having instant coffee. I do love my little French press. Cheers. The rain came shortly thereafter, and I finished out the day just hanging out in Blaze. Well, I'm dropping back off down in here. I decided to stay and chase that fool's gold. I don't know why I'm such a sucker for that fool's gold on private property, but they're there. We had an alarm clock mishap, so I didn't get moving till 45 minutes later. And believe it or not, legal time is in just a few minutes, but it is so foggy that yeah. And the weather forecast said it's supposed to be clear. Well, it's clearly not clear. We'll see how that all plays out. But everything is really wet down in here because the fog is just so thick. I won't be able to try to get into my little corner to start out. It'll be too late to get down in there. Anything that's moving through right at first legal light will already be through. So I'm going to go down around and be up in a little bit different area, be further from the fence, and see if maybe being further from the fence I can't maybe call at one of those bulls and pull them across. The idea with this morning was that with the east wind we have and the sun rising in the east, that hopefully the thermals would switch pretty quick this morning, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It is so foggy and I can't see but 20 yards with my headlamp.
Yesterday I was on that, kind of in the bottom over there, on the opposite side of this drainage. I've got a whistling bull down here, a pretty good ways, but kind of about where he was yesterday. And I got that more barking bull over there. going to start cow calling here. And then go up that way before I do any bugling. And try to see if I can draw them this way with moving cow calls going that way. So the property line is maybe less than 100 right here. So I'm kind of opposite corner of where I was yesterday. Just see if that kind of strategery works at all. Definitely two. There's one that's kind of somewhere in that meadowy area. I can't see him. And there's one up in the aspens. Oh yeah. There's a tiny opening over there. I can only see its butt. Couldn't tell if it was a bull or not, but it looked huge. Dang, one just went across that little opening again. Couldn't get the binos out quick enough. They're going, it was moving quickly in the opposite direction. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's two bulls fighting. It's two bulls. Those two must have linked up. Because the high-pitched guy seemed like he went to the right. And they linked up over there. There's a cow now. Oh, no, that's a bull. The one bull went quickly up the hill, and then the two bulls came down pushing. And then a single bull came back, kind of angled more toward me. I hear a bunch of cow calling. It was a smaller bull, so maybe he wasn't even involved in that pushing going on. He's just a third little bull, which is fine. He can come on over here if he wants. We'll keep playing this game. I'm betting they got cows over there, so they're not overly interested in heading this way. I was hoping maybe one of those little bulls will come over. This says it's supposed to be perfectly clear. This is not perfectly clear. How is it that wrong?
After a while, it seemed like the bulls moved off. It seemed like one went in front and up above me, way into the private land, and the other one stayed down in the private land. and headed off to my left rear. So after about 90 minutes of quiet, I headed out. Going after that fool's gold didn't pan out. And I think I'm gonna go home. I'm about sick and tired of this cold wetness. Everything's wet. My feet right now are almost soaked. Almost soaked. They're wet. They're cold. It is supposed to be sunny right now. It's supposed to be sunny and clear all morning and warming up, and it's not doing either. That forecast I'm getting is worthless. I'd say it's about worthless, but it is worthless because it's not accurate at all. I don't know where that weather station is that they're getting their weather from, but it has nothing to do with where I'm at. Just kind of sick and tired right now of these elements. Those elk, I think they have onX too. They know where the boundaries are, and they just don't come over here. So if I make a video out of this trip, I apologize. It was basically just a bunch of misadventures. I almost got into them Wednesday night, but the weather, the wet and everything made it so dark so early. Just couldn't quite get in on them. Just couldn't quite do it. This morning, it seemed like those bulls that were down below, the 2 or 3 below, the one went up and across and up high. The other went that way. And they stayed on their side of the fence. It seems like they also have paid subscriptions to onX. The weather forecast, if I knew today's weather was this crappy, I would have went home yesterday. It was supposed to be nice, and I thought, oh, it'll clear up. Even though it's supposed to be pretty cold, the sun will be out. It'll work out just fine. Everything will dry off. Maybe I'll even hang out all day, see what happens tonight. I mean, right now I'm walking in 3 layers and I'm not sweating. That's how cold it is and how cold I am. I'll probably have to drop something before I get to the top, but it's just cold right now. So if I end up publishing this video, like I said, I'm sorry. Not real upbeat. Man, these elk, they just do what they want, which is frustrate me, I guess. Been complaining about the cold? Yeah, it snowed up there. And that was my solo outing misadventure playing with that fool's gold on private property. I apologize for the length of this video, and I apologize for not showing you any elk on elk hunting videos. But if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you find it in your heart, hit that subscribe button down there, and as always, thanks for watching.